Okay, right, you can see how far I've actually got on. So I've made 2 of the overall domey things, yeah. I've made 2 of the parcels come cafe, come what is it, toilet, I don't know what I've done. Loads of different things in there, I think. Yeah, so we got some little forget the rail, the track which I've put there, I've just put that there for a minute. Okay, so we've got some canopies as well, put some canopies on. Okay, we've got a cafe there, you see. Yet to put something inside, like tables and chairs for anybody to sit on. But this is the way it's going at the moment. We've got, as I say, we've got 2 of these units here, which is, if you look at the building instructions on the Scalescenes, that's 2 Bs and 2 Cs. The Bs are the buildings, the cafe and the other thing, and the C's are the overall covers. Right. So all we have to do now is to build an A. All right. Now an A will go on where are we? This end here. All right. An A will go on this end here. As a building with a clock tower and this, that and the other, and that's going to be the end of the line, as it were, okay? So booking office, entrance hall, you know, where everybody gathers in their millions waiting for trains that are cancelled or late. So I'm just about to start on that now. I've printed off all the papers, all I need to do is start gluing and this, that and the other. Okay, this isn't completed yet. We've got a joining piece which goes between the 2 to hide the join. We've got chimneys to put on yet. We've got the chimneys, but we haven't got the pots on, so we've got to put some pots on that. The only difference between these 2, the left hand one and the right hand one, is that the right hand one has this black end covery piece. Let me see if I can get in a bit on it. That bit there, okay. So that is only on this end piece. It is not on the other one, okay, so that's the only difference between the 2. So it took a lot of work because there's a fair few hours put into that. Alright, but it's coming on, it's well worth it. I still haven't decided yet how many tracks are going to come into the station, because I reckon 3 tracks, the 2 outer ones, which will have stations on them, and an inner one which doesn't have a station on it, so it'll just be for kind of keeping engines and coaches on. That will fit in there quite easily. I've yet to work out if 3 tracks with a platform, centre platform, you can see the platform that's in there at the moment, it's only temporary. I've got to measure out whether the distance between the tracks, the distance away from the platform, allows me sufficient enough space inside to put some platforms underneath, as I think I remember saying. It's got to go underneath the buildings, the platforms, okay? Because the side which is towards us at the moment will actually have a rail going along there, but it'll be a little bit further away, obviously, from the buildings and that, and the whole thing will be sitting on a platform, which will, the rail which goes along will feed onto that platform. So quite a few rails, quite a few platforms. It's just what I decide on in the end. So we need to get on with the large building, which I'm just about to do. No real problems here, just patience, that's it really, patience. If you intend to put lights in, it's a bit difficult to put lights in. I have fed them in from the top previously in buildings, but this one doesn't leave you really enough space. So what I'm going to try and do is maybe bring them up from underneath the platforms, through the baseboard up into the buildings. And if you are going to have lights on them, just make absolutely certain that your doors, which you put in, which you can see there are doors on here for the toilets and the whatever it is, I've put in cafe, is it? Doors like that, okay? Sit on the floor, the same level as the brickwork, okay? Otherwise what's going to happen there is that when you illuminate the thing, your light is going to seep out underneath the door. So make absolutely certain that that sits flush with the bottom of the building. That'll help you. It won't be absolutely perfect, but we'll see it when we put lights in it and see what it looks like. Right, we'll start on the other bit, shall we? Just a couple of things before we pass off on this one. This is just a kind of a catch-up one. As I said, we're into the large building at the end of the station, which in actual fact is Module A. And there are about 20 sheets of A4. Alright, 20 sheets of A4. Some of them are print only. That's the cover layers, okay, so you've got your brick, whatever, you've got, what's that there, dormer cover layers, cappings, chimney tops, all the rest of it, okay, so they're just cover layers, they're just paper, you just print those, cut them out and wrap them round, either the heavy or the medium card, heavy 2mm, medium 1mm, okay. Light card, by the way, is around 240 grams if you get. There are some light card bits, okay. But all you've got to do is have a look, like we went through before, didn't we? Yeah, okay. Just make certain that you're not sticking a whole sheet of A4 onto one sheet of whatever it is that you think you should be sticking it onto. Now there's 3 on this, okay. This one here says print only, okay. This one here at the side is a light card, and this rest of it here is medium card, okay. There's a dotted line, so you cut them out beforehand, so you get 3 bits, okay. Don't forget to do that. I occasionally forget my what I do, the walls on these buildings, yeah, it's usually a sandwich, okay, a sandwich of 2 bits of 2mm. So in total the walls are 4mm thick, which is a fair old thickness, isn't it? There's one advantage in that, well, there's a couple of advantages. One, it's obviously more substantial build in the end. 2, it stops any light that you've got actually escaping through the walls. Some of the card kits that you buy, and certainly some of the pre-made plastic or whatever they call it, resiny kind of buildings, the problems with those sometimes is that if you put a light in there, it actually shows through the walls because it's so thin. So this is exceptionally thick, so it's two layers usually of all 4 walls goes around. What I always do really is I make the first wall, the outside wall, and the inside wall obviously glues to the others, the inside of it, so you've got one in, one out. Sandwiched between the 2, do not forget to put in and glue obviously your doors and your windows. I cannot remember how many times I've glued the two things together, and I'm sitting watching them with the clothes pegs on, drying, as I think to myself as I look down, ooh, I wonder where those windows should have gone. Yeah, and there's me trying desperately to prise these two wretched things apart, these bits of cardboard, in order to be able to let them dry out, to stick the windows in and then put them back together again. Luckily I've usually caught it in time, and but you just need to follow the instructions. All the time you need to follow the instructions. Have your computer open if that's the way you're reading your instructions. You print them off if you want to, it's a PDF. So you can have a printed sheet of instructions by the side of you if you want. There's no problem with that. Or you can leave them on your computer as a PDF and read it as you go along. The nice thing about these kits, of course, or any kits of this ilk, in other words, the ones that you download the kit and print off, is that if you do make a complete, you know the word, yeah, something up, if you do mess it up, you can always print another one, can't you? You always print another one and start again for that bit or whatever. And that's lovely, that. It gives you, people like me, a bit of freedom. Anyway, what I'm going to do, so I keep saying what I'm going to do, don't I? I'm going to start on this build now. It's just a case, it's boring cutting out bits of cardboard. You don't want to watch that. Sliced my finger off, sliced a big chunk out of it the other day. You might have been interested to watch that because there was some nice words after that following. But apart from that, not all that interesting. So as soon as I get something going, as soon as you get something built and you can look at, I'll come back and I'll show you. Alright then. Cheers for watching. I turn myself off. Don't know why I keep forgetting stuff to tell you. Warnings. Do not. This bit, the end building, yeah, it's quite complicated. I was going to say it's got 20 odd sheets of paper with it, and it's very easy to lose touch with what each bit is. It's better if you, when you cut these out, if you want to cut them out and stick them, I mean if you want to just stick them on, big A4 piece of card, you can do that, but what I generally do is cut them down to size, somewhere near size, and then stick them on the card, which leaves me perhaps some card left over for another little piece that I can use again, instead of just having card with bits of plain paper stuck on it. So just make certain that if you do cut individual pieces off a sheet, that you can identify them somehow, okay? So just take it one step at a time. Don't go at, like I say, don't do everything. Don't cut everything out and then try and work out where it goes. It don't work. It won't work like that. You've got to identify somehow the pieces that you're cutting out. Now those pieces which are like going to be covered with a wall paper or something like that, yeah, they're usually written on what they are. Like, let me just show you here. That one there says fireplace on it, okay. Alright, so even though you do cut those out, when you stick them on the card, you can still read what they are. Other bits don't have that written on them, and that would be the bits which obviously are the covering layers. Like, yeah, you're not going to write on these what on earth they are you? So only cut them out when you need them. That way you can, you know what they are because you just cut them out. And the other thing is, sometimes it's written underneath. This one says roadside wall base layer A. Okay? Roadside wall base layer A. Says that on the bottom there. So when I cut it out, as it were, to make less waste, I just leave that little bit in the bottom there, just so I can identify it when it's stuck on the card. Right. So one step at a time. The other thing is the glues that I use. I probably told you, I don't know. I've tried different glues. I've tried all sorts of different stuff. I tried this once. What's it called? Brit stick, whatever. But I tend to use this, the Yoo-hoo-y stuff. This is a lot more controllable. This one is, it's okay for kids. Yeah, okay, you get it everywhere, and it comes out in blobs and lumps and you get a stretchy, stringy stuff. I suppose it's okay. Horses for courses. This is the best stuff for sticking on the paper. I suppose you could spray it, couldn't you, with a photographic fixer if you want photographic, stuff. But that smells, and you can't, gets it everywhere, doesn't it? This is easy. This is child's play. This stuff. I found that good for what we're doing. Okay, just make absolutely certain that you've got enough of them. Yeah, I've got quite a few of them. Yeah, you don't want to run out. Once your enthusiasm starts going, I have off days. I have on days. When I do an on day, fairly enthusiastic about these things. If I have an off day, I don't. So if I have an on day, I need enough glue. All right, so I'm always in advance of myself as far as glue goes. But there are certain other things that require gluing together, and I use one of these things here. Fairly controllable, actually. You can sort of swizzle the top around, it comes out thick or thin. So yeah, that's not bad, that stuff. It's the same by the same people. You use what what you're used to. But that, if you've not used it before, if you're starting from scratch, you've never done one of these things, that's what I use. I don't find any problem with them. You don't stick your stuff. You don't stick yourself together. Unlike this super gluey stuff, I get it. Oh dear. Yeah, perhaps I must be too old, I don't know. Super glue. Anyway, I'm gonna carry on. I'll see you back again soon.